Hello, my name is Randy Scamihorn, and this is the Chairman's Brief. As Chairman of the Cobb Board of Education, I am privileged to serve as the spokesperson for the Cobb School Board. The school board, together with our staff, students, parents, and community, make up our team striving for our common goal, student success. Cobb is Georgia's third largest county by population. That's a lot of families needing to get their students to and from school every day. Fortunately, the families of most Cobb students choose to rely on Cobb school buses for that. Can you imagine what traffic would be like if they didn't? With a stellar reputation for safety and efficiency, our transportation department has earned the trust of families across the county. Here to tell us what they do and how they do it is the Transportation Department's Senior Executive Director, Matt Sanders. Matt, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Very briefly, tell us about yourself as we get started.
Ooh, well, you want to start with a boring story, I guess. But I'm a Cobb County native, attended Cobb County schools, graduated from Pebblebrook more years ago than we want to talk about. Went to Kennesaw State University for a while, finally finished with the University of Phoenix, degree in business, and I began my transportation career in 2003 as a bus driver here in Cobb County. I have been in just about every position there is within the organization, so when somebody asks me about something, I probably know firsthand how it goes and what occurs during the process.
Okay. Now, in that time from 2003 up, I'm sure the technology on how we design our bus routes and how employees do things, has that changed?
Oh, it's changed greatly. I can remember when I first started out, there were no routing programs, computer programs or anything like that. We actually had a paper map, and I'm old enough to remember paper maps with little dots on it, and it was like we were doing connect the dots, how we could get the buses the best way. Now we just put in addresses, the number of students, and we have complicated programs that figure out the best way to get from point A to point B as efficiently as we can.
Well, and we've grown considerably since 2003 too. I'm sure you've seen that.
Right now we have about 1,100 buses in our fleet, and we complete roughly 770 routes per day. That includes special needs routes and regular education routes. Along with, it also includes all the special routes, transporting our magnet students to and from the different programs, CTE. So it's a very extensive operation.
Okay. Now, what about, tell me a little bit about the department. How are you made up? It's not just a whole bunch of buses.
Sure, we're divided into transportation areas, just like on the education side, they have area superintendents. We have area supervisors that are broke down by high schools and the related feeder patterns.
Okay. Now, if I was a new bus driver or a bus driver, can I pick the route that I want? Or like if I live in a particular part of the county or near the county, let's say I live in Cherokee County just over the line and I'm one of our bus drivers, can I get a route that's close to home?
Yes, we try to place drivers in the area in which they live. Often they have students attending those schools, so they're able to they're able to put their child on the bus, drop them off at school in the morning. In the afternoon, the student gets back on the bus, so it's a benefit for the drivers. It also cuts down on their commute times, so we always try to put people in the area that they actually live in. Plus, they're more familiar with streets and the roads, and it contributes to our safety record if you know where you're at every day and where you're going.
Now, I know you have big garages for maintenance of your buses. But one thing I'm not sure of is, do you also maintain our fleet of maintenance trucks and support cars and things like that, or does another department do that?
No, we handle everything. We have 4 shops throughout the county, and we handle not only the buses, but all of the maintenance trucks, white fleet, anything's got wheels on it, tractor trailer trucks that they use to haul band equipment for marching bands. We maintain everything that's got a wheel on it.
Now, do you have people that track the maintenance, when maintenance should be done?
School buses are required by law to be inspected every 20 days. So whether that bus is sitting there because it's a spare on standby, or if it's on the road, it must be inspected every 20 days.
Okay.
As far as our white fleet, it's on a regular rotation program, just like your personal car would be, every 7,500 miles, whatever the manufacturer's recommendation is. And of course, we have computer programs to keep up with that, so that when something comes in, everything is documented, the mileage, and then it'll estimate when it's time for it again. When it comes up, we'll call the person and say, okay, your service truck needs to come in next week for service. And same way for buses. The bus driver knows every 20 days ahead of time, oh, next Thursday, I have to take my bus for inspection. And they come in and inspect it. Then we have a fleet of spare buses, so that driver will check out a spare to drive while we redo her bus.
Let's talk about the bus drivers a little bit. What kind of training do they have? You know, obviously we have priceless young people on there, and we want to be as safe as possible. What does a bus driver do, and is there recurring training for bus drivers?
Yes. Bus drivers have to have a CDL license, commercial driver's license, and the state has special endorsements for passengers and school buses. So in order to drive a school bus, you have to get a CDL license that's concentrated on passengers and school buses. Complete training takes about anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. That involves about 12 to 15 hours in the classroom, minimum of 6 hours driving the bus without any students on it, and then a minimum of 6 hours driving the bus with students and your trainer. So that by the time a driver is driving the bus on their own, they're familiar with the entire process. They actually train on the route they will be driving, so that when we say, okay, you're ready to go on your own, we've been with them the entire time and they know where they're at and where to go.
Okay, great. Well, how many students do you transport every day?
Right now, we're transporting approximately 78,000 students twice a day, to school in the morning and home from school in the afternoon.
Okay. How many routes, or how many times does a bus driver, do they go out on a route during the day?
In a perfect world, everybody would do 3 routes. You'd start with your elementary, then we do our high school, and then you do a middle school. And then you repeat the process in the afternoon. Depending on the length of the route, you may only have an elementary and a high school. You know, there's time and distance and geography that we have to cover. That some areas are very compact where we can do a lot. More other routes are long just due to the area that we have to cover, and it may not be as densely populated.
What, as a parent, if I have a circumstance or something I want to alert the transportation department to know about, whether it's a pothole in the road, something unsafe, or I see a bus that does something I consider unsafe, how do I communicate with the transportation department?
You can always pick the phone up and call us. Our information is on the website. Every supervisor, phone number, maintenance, the entire 9 yards. Interesting you say that. I had one of those this morning, as a matter of fact. And it was a parent, and she was just concerned about how closely the bus was stopping to the car in front of them at red lights. Didn't feel like there was enough space. And she sent us an email along with the picture. And of course, at 6 o'clock this morning, I was looking at the GPS for that bus to see and help identify what may have been going on, who was driving it, so we could get with that driver and do some remedial training if needed.
Okay, so we stay on top of things as they happen.
Yes, especially if safety is involved.
Well, what's the biggest reward in driving students to and from school? And let me make that a two-part. What is the biggest reward you have as the executive director, and then the rewards of being a bus driver?
I think they're both the same. Our biggest reward is knowing that we're helping our students through their educational process here in Cobb County, but also throughout life. If we can get them to and from school safely, they learn through K through 12, then that's going to contribute to their lifelong success, which will come back and help our district again. So it's really all about student success.
Okay. Well, you know, it's interesting that some of our longest serving employees are bus drivers.
Right.
And it just amazes me when they retire that, you know, they have anywhere like 30, 35, 40 years of driving. Why do you think that is?
Many of our drivers consider their students their children.
Yeah.
And the ability to see that student progress from kindergarten to graduation, it's just like watching and supporting your own child. I've actually had drivers postpone their retirement by a year so they could see students graduate.
Okay, wow. So, well, I'm certainly glad they're here. You know, I mean, we need bus
Right.
drivers and those that love their job and want to stay and see our children grow up. So, what's the biggest challenge your department faces?
Right now, our biggest challenge is the same challenge that the nation is having, and that is a shortage of school bus drivers. As rewarding as it is, it's a nationwide challenge to get people to drive buses. And it's actually a great job. You work a little bit in the morning, you're off all day. During the middle of the day, you can take care of personal business, you come back and work in the afternoon. It's great for parents with school-age children because then they're able to actually devote time volunteering at the school, meeting with teachers. But the biggest challenge we face is the bus driver shortage because it forces us every day to some days totally reroute depending on the resources we have available to us that day. Okay. So just getting things to fit every day can be a huge challenge.
Well, since we're talking about trying to get bus drivers and reaching out, like a lot of people, men and women, all they've ever driven has been their family pickup truck or car, and they're afraid to come and talk to you or apply to be a bus driver because, oh my goodness, I can't handle something that large. Do you have a way to get them to overcome that? Just getting me over the hesitation of, my goodness, we live in a urban district and lots of traffic. I'm not even going to try. What would you say to those folks? Do we have simulators? Can they come in and do they have a bus simulator by any chance?
We don't, but that might be a good idea to some entrepreneur out there that wants to build one. And I tell people all the time, it's just a big car. That's all it is. And as a matter of fact, once most people get in it and start driving, they actually prefer it to their car. You're sitting much higher. There's enough mirrors on that bus, you can see completely around it. As a matter of fact, I can parallel park a bus better than I can my car, just because there are enough mirrors that I can see exactly what I'm doing. Wow. So it's just a big car. You have the advantage of sitting higher. So once people actually sit in the seat, they realize, oh, this is not bad at all. It's really pretty cool. And we attend different festivals throughout the county, fall festivals, that type of stuff, and we'll take a bus with us to help recruit drivers. And it's like when Billy Bob comes down the street, we'll start talking to him. Well, here, get up here on the bus, sit in the seat,
Okay.
kind of feel what it's like.
There you go.
And that really helps a lot, because then it's not just a big yellow bus. It's like, oh, I sat in the seat, it's not that bad.
Yeah, okay. Well, I assume we do that to Mary Jane as well as Billy Bob.
Oh, yeah, Mary Jane, Billy Bob, Sally Sue, we'll do it to
We need
anybody.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Come see us.
Yeah.
Well, now that COVID numbers appear to be declining, do you expect that to change?
As we move forward, our HR department and our recruiting department are looking at very many different options to help with our recruiting efforts to get new people in here and help retain the ones we've got.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's been a very interesting interview, but is there anything that you'd like to add that I haven't been able to cover? Any thoughts come to mind that you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, I would just like to thank everybody for their patience and understanding during this time. We strive to be very consistent, but due to the shortage, we may vary sometimes, but we appreciate everybody's patience, and so far they have been patient, the students, the parents, the schools, and we're appreciative for all the support.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here.
So thank you for having me.
Matt, thank you for helping our families get their students safely to and from school every day. And thank you for watching. Join me again next time to learn more of the great things happening in the Cobb County School District. Have a good day.